Hi, this is Wishop, and this is your reading for the Libra full moon of, let's see, where is it? Oh, April 11th. Okay, so here in the US on the East Coast, it'll be at 2:09 a.m., so very early between the 11th and the between the 10th and 11th. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Also, the fact that Mercury is going retrograde. So it's going to be retrograde for about 3 weeks, as it usually is. And to me, that influenced a lot the reading that we got, certainly of the glyphs. So these are not dice, these are geomancy glyphs. And I just made up a couple little I guess papers so you could see them, little tiles. But if you are interested in geomancy, I did this big long 7-video series that gives an intro into the system. Also, there are 2 videos with just the meanings of all the glyphs and then how you derive them, and there's a bunch of other stuff in there. So if you're interested, I will put a little card in the corner of this video that you can follow to get to that playlist. So what I wanted to do here was I just did 2 witnesses and a judge, so kind of a quick outcome kind of spread. I rolled the dice, excuse me, to get witness 1, or the mother of the judge, witness 2, and the father of the judge, and then to get the outcome. So the witnesses are gain, acquisitio, which is like Sagittarius. It's Jupiter ruled. It's stable. It has to do with, like Sagittarius would, promotion, advancement, gaining knowledge, moving forward. So it's something that you've grown yourself, that you've developed. This is Letitia, or joy, and it's like the rainbow arch. So this is like Pisces, another Jupiterian sign. So there's a lot of this kind of luck, I guess, and expansion that's coming here. This is coming down basically from above, or you can think of it from other people. What I see as a predominant energy right now is that things which broke down before, things which you wanted, which you were trying to achieve on a, maybe on a personal level, or you were pushing ahead to maybe start a relationship, or you were pushing ahead with some work endeavor, or pushing ahead in some area of personal development, and it kind of broke down, or it stalled. It just wasn't moving. And it seemed like where you needed other people's cooperation and support, you weren't getting it. Well, this is now sort of a coming back around, as Mercury retrograde tends to do. And Venus is retrograde now as well, and in Pisces, which is a collective sign, and also represented here in Letitia. And so in this collective energy, and we're going to have the full moon in Libra, which is also ruled by Venus, and of course sweetens up relationships, diplomacy, win-win situations. There is an ability to merge together what you most value and what someone else, or another party, or some other piece of the situation that also needs to be satisfied, to merge together those wishes and outcomes to create a win-win that unifies, unifies opposing forces into a single goal. So this is the glyph for boy, which is Mars in Aries. So this can be a slightly negative glyph. So as an outcome, you might be concerned about it, but it's a slightly negative glyph, except in issues of love and war. So in the case that we have the sun in Aries and inspiring action, here is where, because this is very single-minded action, here's where we're getting your internal sense of value, your internal re-examination of what's important to you. That is merging with other people's sense of what they want, what they need, what they value in a very agreeable way, I think of this glyph, Letitia, as having some similarity to the Three of Cups, which is also very sociable and agreement oriented. When Mercury is retrograde, it tends to refocus us on the areas that it's in. So Mercury is in Taurus now, so it'll retrograde in there and then it'll head back to Aries. So it is going to be a lot about your value system, right? Venus is all up in this. But where we look at these mercurial ruled signs like Gemini and Virgo, there is a focus on reaching out to people and providing something wholesome and helpful. So if you try to avoid the more negative aspects of the mercurial signs, meaning this is not a time for super perfectionism, this is not a time for loose gossip, this isn't going to be a time to spend in a lot of anxiety. This is going to be a time to spend all about reconciling your inner sense of values, the things that you've learned that are most important to you, reconciling them when this old offer or this old, somehow from the past, broken situation returns, comes back around. Is there a way to salvage it or to learn from the past? This has a lot to do with learning, growing, gained wisdom. Is there a way to learn from the past and turn it into an action now, into a seed of action now? And to me, it looks like this stuff is happening now. It looks to me like there's some larger arcs that are sort of coming to fulfillment in the summer. But to me, this looks like more of a what's going on right now kind of thing. So let me give you the tarot card. This is from the Fairy Tarot. Oh, wait, I flipped it the wrong way. But okay, so this is the Five of Wands upright. And this is from the Venus Oracle. And this is Le Cloitre. It's like sort of the cloistered nun. She's number 2. It is somewhat similar to the High Priestess, but a little bit different in this deck. So I want to point that out. So in the Five of Wands, if we think of the traditional Rider-Waite, you think of all these guys with sticks and they're hitting each other, and you think it can be competing agendas. It can be training, however. It can also be the repetition of training. So where we have acquisitio, this also emphasizes training and learning. And this too actually emphasizes spiritual learning, but I'll get to that in a minute. If I hold this up, the Five of Wands, you can see really closely, instead of people fighting, what you have is a fairy accepting what looks like suitors. She has sort of suitors competing for her hand, but it looks like a calm situation. It doesn't look particularly heated or violent, and it looks like she is really in the ideal position to get to choose what she values, choose who she loves. So pick among her offers. And that is very much this choice-making, coming up with that win-win best case scenario, so that eventually, like this is boy, so you can see that maybe she would choose one of these. This is going to be a resolution of competing agendas with other people in a sweet give and take that will come through not only being sure about what you want, but understanding other people's values too, understanding the values they place on the piece or part of this circumstance, situation, endeavor, relationship. What do they value? And giving that respect and consideration will allow you to get the things that you most value and to come into a single-minded agreement, to be on the same page about it. So in the Venus Oracle, this Le Cloitre has to do with silence. It can do with wisdom, religious or spiritual matters. What I think is interesting is when I think of the High Priestess, She's sitting in the traditional Rider-Waite between two pillars, looking face forward. She's evenly balanced between the two of them. This high priestess is in motion. She's moving from sort of the darkness into this lit area. And she only has columns, this arcade of columns on one side of her. So while she is contained, she can look through the columns and see everything around her. So I feel like this is a decision. Like at some point when she was evenly placed between the two, she made a decision about what she wanted, what she thought, and now she's moving towards that goal. And I feel like the focus on silence and communication and all that is going to be tied to that Mercury retrograde energy, which is going to say, if communications seem awkward or delayed, you're going to want to probably give them the benefit of the doubt. Assume that other people are experiencing the same glitch as you are. To the extent that you can give them the benefit of the doubt, they're going to look more favorably upon you and the things that you need. So I think the idea is to feel calm through this and to really realize that all of the delays or what might seem like delays or glitches could in fact lead to a better answer. If you decide right away, take action too soon, you may not get the benefit of all the offers that are out there. You may not be able to incorporate the best of the best, because where we talk about the best of both worlds, that's kind of what you're trying to do here. You're trying to coordinate the best of the best, and you're trying to do it in a diplomatic and fair way. That's this Libra full moon, where you are allowing everybody to get something that they value out of the situation. And walking that middle path, this is kind of walking that middle path where you are weighing people's concerns and wishes as fairly as you can. And to the extent that you let yourself move in a considered fashion, not feeling like you have to rush, just letting it unfold and really being careful about upholding your own set of values. Don't give away anything you don't mean to give away. Don't give away the thing which matters most to you. But also don't fail to look at what other people value and need out of the situation. So that's kind of what's coming to me now, and it looks like something that's definitely happening over the next couple weeks, over the next 2 or 3 weeks really, because we're going to get into this new moon on the 26th, which is going to be in Taurus. And Taurus is, of course, a sign of value. It's also a sign of our stuff, our money, our negotiations. Taurus is ruled by Venus again, Venus who is so prominent right now. And so I think what's going to happen is these old issues or previous wishes that maybe didn't come through or didn't quite work out, they come back around. You get a chance to revisit them, renegotiate them with a better sense of personal poise, a better sense of value. Having learned a lot, you're coming through this wiser, and you are able to create an agreeable situation worth celebrating that's going to allow you to move forward in a very powerful way. While the sun is still in Aries. So that's, while Mercury is coming out of retrograde in early May and, will leave Aries at the same time. And then we'll get this new moon in Taurus, by which hopefully you recognize the seed of something new and tangible of value. And it's something that you contributed by kind of creating this divine alchemy between what other people need and what you need in a way that shows a great deal of wisdom. So hopefully that is useful or at least interesting to you. Do check out the description because that's where I put the shadow cards. Also, there I'll put a link in there to the geomancy stuff too. So rock on.